My name's Anthony. I've been working as a regular real estate agent, and just like that, 15 years have flown by. I'm 35, single, and don't have many friends, and the idea of having a girlfriend seems like a distant dream. Somehow, I've always been a bit slow on the uptake, with no particular skills or talents to boast about. Even the new hires at my job are outperforming me. It's clear that folks at the company see me as dead weight.
So, that's why you can't close the deal, huh? You gotta be more assertive, or at least push a bit harder to get a commitment.
After hanging up the phone, a colleague named Mark chimed in with that advice. Mark is 4 years younger than me, but ever since he joined, his performance has been outstanding. There's even talk that he might be up for a section leader position soon. I'll keep that in mind for next time.
Anthony, you always say that, but you never really change, do you? To succeed, you gotta pick up on the good points from others.
The way he said it, it felt like a boss scolding his subordinate. But considering the gap in our performances, I guess I can't blame him for speaking to me that way. My bad, my bad. I said with a chuckle, trying to brush it off like I always do. I can see where Mark's coming from, sure. But I've always believed in genuinely addressing a client's needs, and I'm just not comfortable with aggressive sales tactics. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just a different approach, right? I want to focus more on client-centric proposals. Still, being called out by a subordinate, that's something else.
Anthony, come over here for a sec.
Not only from subordinates but naturally, I couldn't escape reprimands from my boss either. After the lunch break, the one calling me over was my boss, Jose. Jose, 2 years my senior, has been my direct supervisor since I started working here. So, he's well aware of my less than stellar performance.
Do you even realize how embarrassing your position is? You're being outdone by someone 4 years your junior, and on top of that, you're getting called out by them. Don't you want to change yourself, change your actions? With that attitude, if someone says you're holding them back, you wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
I'm sorry.
Mark was giving you a hard time earlier, wasn't he?
Jose remarked. Yeah, he was. I admitted. Having a subordinate's complaints reported to the boss is just plain embarrassing. That being said, it had become an all too familiar situation for me. Truth is, it's not that I lack ambition. Ever since the beginning, I've wanted to build trust with clients and deliver results. But somewhere along the line, I found myself giving up. I can feel the disappointment in myself, thinking nothing's going to change if I keep going like this. On the flip side, I believe I'm doing my best. But after 15 years of seeing no change in myself, I guess it makes sense that I get chewed out.
I'm sorry, you keep saying. Have I seen any growth from you in 15 years? Do you realize you're dragging the team down? Put yourself in my shoes, having been your boss all these years. If you don't have the drive, just quit the company right now. I'm begging you.
It might be that Jose is facing pressure from higher-ups due to my poor performance. I can't just up and leave. I truly apologize. I understood that my contributions to the company were minimal, and that I was holding the team back. Yet, mustering the courage to quit this job and search for a new one was tough. With a 15-year career and no standout achievements, I felt that not many companies would be willing to hire an average-skilled 35-year-old like me. I know that staying with this company under these circumstances is causing inconvenience to others, but deciding to resign was still hard.
Tisk.
Jose clicked his tongue and left the meeting room. One day, Jose and I visited a subsidiary's office for a meeting. This subsidiary is in the same industry and has a strong brand reputation and momentum. I rarely get a chance to visit there, but for some reason, they needed help that day, and I was chosen.
Hello, Anthony. I'm Nicholas, the division manager.
Nice to meet you. When he introduced himself with a smile, I was taken aback by his youthful and fresh appearance. Later, I found out he was just 30 and was impressed that he was leading a division at such a young age. Moreover, he was very approachable and friendly, even to an average employee like me. He seemed very charismatic in my eyes. Most of the meeting was led by Jose and Nicholas, and I was struggling just to keep up. I couldn't even figure out what purpose I served there. The thought that both Jose and Nicholas might have noticed my ineffectiveness made me feel so uncomfortable that I began to sweat. In the middle of our discussion, my work cell rang. Glancing at the screen, I saw it was a call from a client. I gave Nicholas a questioning look, asking silently if I could take the call. He responded warmly. Of course, go ahead. The client wanted to change the date of a contract-related visit. I checked my planner and agreed to the change. Right after hanging up, Jose frowned and said,
Why did you agree to that?
I was taken aback and asked, What do you mean? Jose, looking quite irritated, said,
If we keep bending to their every whim, there's no end to it. They'll start to think they can ask anything of us, and then they'll start calling for the most trivial requests. If that happens, it's us who get bogged down and delayed in our work. Haven't I told you this time and again? Don't cater to the client's every little request. That's why you're not efficient. It's reasons like this that you remain just another employee after all these years.
Indeed, Jose had pointed this out to me before. But I never really saw eye to eye with him on that. Tentatively, I tried to make a case. But the clients also have their reasons for reaching out, and if we can accommodate, shouldn't we? But as usual, Jose quickly shot back.
There's no need to concern ourselves with their reasons. We scheduled first, so we should be the priority.
Finding no words to counter, all I could do was apologize. I'm sorry for that. Just then, Jose's cell phone rang, and he quickly left the room. This left only Nicholas and me in the conference room. Nicholas, looking surprised, asked,
Do you always get feedback like that from your boss?
Seeing someone with a 15-year career like mine still getting guidance from a superior probably shocked him, especially coming from someone as successful as him. I couldn't meet Nicholas's eyes out of embarrassment. At 35, it's kind of pathetic to still be guided like that. But I just can't get on board with my boss's way of thinking. Sure, thinking about efficiency makes the work go smoothly, but I always want to put the customer first. That's why my performance is always at the bottom, and I'm just an average employee. I replied with a laugh. Making light of being guided at this age and my position in the company was a way to shield myself. But then, Nicholas said something I didn't expect.
You don't need to apologize. I think it's commendable.
I was taken aback and said, Huh? Nicholas continued.
Truth be told, I share the same sentiment as you, Anthony. I believe there's nothing more crucial in the service industry than valuing the customer.
In my 15-year career, he was the first person to ever say that to me. Really? I asked in astonishment.
Absolutely.
Nicholas began, launching into stories from his early career days. As I listened to him, I felt encouraged and inspired. But I just don't have the confidence to overcome challenges like you, Nicholas. However, today's conversation with you was truly meaningful. It's made me want to push myself harder. I conveyed my gratitude to Nicholas. Shortly after, Jose returned, and we resumed our meeting. But I felt more uplifted. Later on, Nicholas and I went out for meals a few times and became close. Even though he's a younger boss, he always respected me. Because of my relationship with him, I felt like I rediscovered my worth. One day, while having a drink with Nicholas as usual, he said something unexpected.
Anthony, I have a huge favor to ask. Would you consider coming to work at my company?
I was taken aback. I had never imagined someone asking me such a thing. Me? Really? I was in total disbelief. Nicholas continued.
Both our companies and the parent company you're with seem to be neglecting customer service in the name of efficiency. Right now, they're coasting by on brand name alone, but that won't last forever. As you mentioned in a recent meeting, everyone feels there's a need for a customer-centric approach. We've concluded that integrating your insights would be invaluable for the company. There's also a push from the executives to have you leverage your experience and knowledge in a role as the Director of Talent Development.
It felt like a dream. I always thought my methods were inefficient, but to have their value recognized like this was unexpected. While I had my reservations, I felt this might be what I was meant to do and decided to give it my all. I accepted Nicholas' offer, and a week later, I officially moved to his company. Word of this spread throughout the company, and some folks mistakenly thought
Anthony got moved to the subsidiary because he wasn't up to par.
But I didn't let such rumors distract me. I was excited to embark on this new challenge alongside Nicholas. The week before my transfer, a farewell party was arranged. Honestly, I knew many folks weren't interested in me, but they decided to throw the party out of tradition. Nicholas said he wanted to say a few words, so he joined as well. He probably had no idea how little I was valued here.
To Anthony's farewell, cheers.
I couldn't help but feel there was a hint of sarcasm in that toast. But I brushed it off since it was a farewell party after all. Yet, throughout the evening, the jabs didn't stop.
We're going to have less work without him around,
Joked Jose. Mark chuckled.
If you can't do the job, you get shipped off to an affiliate. Better watch out.
It seemed people were more entertained by poking fun at me than by saying goodbye. At first, Nicholas took it as light-hearted banter, but I could see him gradually becoming more uncomfortable. I began to worry he might regret poaching me. After that, Jose spoke up.
Nicholas, thank you for taking on this burden. You truly have a big heart.
At that, Nicholas, who had been quiet until now, stood up and responded.
Oh, I should be thanking you, Jose, for so readily letting go of such a valuable asset like Anthony. I truly appreciate it.
Everyone was taken aback by Nicholas's words, including me. A few seconds later, the room erupted in laughter. No one believed Anthony was a valuable asset. Nicholas continued with a serious expression.
It's astonishing that after working with Anthony for 15 years, you still don't recognize his capabilities. It makes me question your judgment, Jose.
The atmosphere in the room instantly grew tense. Jose, with a flushed face, retorted.
What does someone from a subsidiary even have to say?
But Nicholas cut him off.
I'd keep an eye on how this subsidiary progresses.
With that, we left the venue. Later on, Nicholas repeatedly apologized, saying,
I got a bit emotional back there, I'm sorry.
but honestly, I was elated. I had never met someone who'd get so mad on my behalf before. And what was amazing about Nicholas was that he followed through on the promise he made to Jose that day. To meet Nicholas's expectations, I gave it my all as the head of talent development. There was just one thing I wanted to convey, that valuing our customers benefits not only them but also the company. This mindset gradually spread among the employees, and our company's profits began to soar. 5 years later, we surpassed the performance of the parent company I used to be a part of. I still vividly remember the frustrated looks on the faces of Jose and his team, dispatched from the parent company, when they had to undergo training at our subsidiary. Another 10 years have passed. I'm still working side by side with Nicholas. I find fulfillment in my daily work and feel the joy of being needed by others. At 45, I'm still single, but my life now is incomparably more satisfying than it was a decade ago. I owe it all to Nicholas, who understood my capabilities and leveraged them to the fullest. I plan to continue giving my all in this place for the foreseeable future.